Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. This is your 6 p.m. wrap. Former Philippine President Fidel Ramos says the hasty burial of Ferdinand Marcos at the Heroes Cemetery is an insult to the military and the police.
I felt very bad, especially for the veterans. Ito.
Should he be
Sandali
excused?
lang.
Sorry.
As well as a lot of the members of the armed forces of the Philippines. Veterans as well as retirees and active members, as well as members of the Philippine National Police, which I commanded. It was a insult, it was a trivialization of the role, the sacrifices of our armed forces, PNP, Coast Guard, veterans, retired, active.
Ramos headed the Philippine Constabulary during Marcos's martial law regime and became military vice chief of staff. He broke away from Marcos in February 1986, leading the People Power revolt that ousted Marcos. President Rodrigo Duterte demands the resignation of Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC officials after receiving reports of rampant corruption in the agency.
I am demanding that they all resign. Kasi nabasa ko yung internal pati yung sa intelligence. Talagang binastos nila ang I don't know, just like in the past. They must resign. I have options, file a case against them all, or demand that no money will be appropriated. Nihiring pa yan ngayon eh. Ulong. Bigyan ko siya 0. I will ask Congress, I demand from Congress to disband.
Duterte's order comes nearly 2 weeks after the reported suicide of ERC Director Francisco Villa Jr. His sister claimed he committed suicide because he was forced by superiors to disregard proper procedure in approving contracts and hiring consultants. As ERC Director, Villa served as the chairman of the Bids and Awards Committee. But 3 top officials of the ERC say they will not resign despite Duterte's order. The ERC is an independent body created by law to regulate and curb abusive practices in the power industry. In an ANC interview on Monday, ERC Commissioners Alfredo Non, Ina Asirit, and Gloria Yap-Tarok all said resigning would not be in the best interests of the ERC. The Justice Department, or DOJ, issues subpoenas to Senator Leila de Lima in a drug complaint. The complaints against de Lima were filed by the National Bureau of Investigation, the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, 2 former NBI officials, and convict J.B. Sebastian, who testified against de Lima during a congressional probe. De Lima and 2 other officials are accused of violating the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees, and the Anti-Torture Act of 2009. De Lima says her legal team will handle the subpoenas. President Rodrigo Duterte will sign an executive order declaring the Scarborough Shoal a marine sanctuary, an area where fishing is not allowed. Scarborough Shoal is in the disputed West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea. National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon says Duterte relayed his plan to Chinese President Xi Jinping during their bilateral meeting Saturday, but could not immediately describe the Chinese leader's response to the idea. Under the planned EO, fishing inside Scarborough Shoal itself would be banned to allow fish stocks to replenish, but fishing around the shoal would be allowed for both Filipinos and Chinese. South Korea's main opposition party moves to impeach President Park Geun-hye. The move comes the day after prosecutors named Park a criminal suspect in a major influence peddling case involving her close friend, Choi Soon-sil. Choi is accused of extorting more than $60 million from local firms and meddling in state affairs. South Korea's opposition parties hold a combined 55% of parliamentary seats, short of the 2/3 majority required to pass an impeachment bill. Dozens of lawmakers in Park's own party vow to support a push for her impeachment. That's your 6 p.m. wrap. Watch our daily updates, 12 noon and 6 p.m. I'm Maria Ressa. Remember, tomorrow begins today.